Um, I think it was, I actually think it was from my dad. I was just practice, 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 and then a little more practice. So I think there's always room to get better. It's funny. I had Nico Estevez as my coach growing up. He's the coach of Austin, and when I think about someone that, like left an impact on me, I put him up there for sure. Um, just want to become a better person, better teammate, better player, and just overall in life, just try to be a better human. Um, uh, I would probably say being at the 2022 World Cup, playing against England, just see like how the team grinded it out that game against one of the best countries in the world. I think that was probably my favorite memory. Like so proud of my country. Uh, I don't now, but I was a big Fortnite guy in its prime, and then Rocket League too. Yeah. FIFA, yeah. FIFA's a good one too. Awesome, bro. Nice meeting you, bro. Yeah. Yeah, I think just meeting the guys is a fun thing. I think you've been playing against these guys for, you know, years now, and getting to know them is pretty cool. And then I want to win. I think in the skills challenge and in the game, you want to win. And I haven't had the best luck against Mexican teams recently. So for me, it's I just want to go out there and win. Yeah. For me, it's one of the best fan bases in MLS. Going there my first year, just all the love and support that they gave me from, for a 20, 21-year-old kid was something I'll never forget, and regardless of how the team was doing, they were always there and behind the team. And that's something that I didn't take for granted at the moment. So, they're incredible, and, it's a great place to have the All-Star game. Yeah. I'd say staying in the moment. I felt like when I was younger, have a good game, you're pumped. Have a bad game, you're so down. And kind of staying in the moment and having that patience almost. I know it's really hard as a young player, but I think there was times in my career where I was really down. And I knew I wasn't performing anywhere close enough to be on the field. And now being in the position I am, it's about being patient. And just getting your opportunity when you get a chance. Yeah, very surprised. Yeah, we've won one game and tied one game, so we're doing pretty well. He's obviously, he's an incredible player, and it stinks to see him leave, but I think guys have stepped up the whole year, so it'll be good. Yeah. No, I haven't heard too much about him. It's pretty cool that he's Japanese and Peruvian. That's pretty amazing. But yeah, no, I haven't heard too much. And if he joins, I'm sure it'll be a great addition. Yeah, I think anytime you get to play for a country is probably the biggest honor, and the second for me is winning games with Vancouver. And then this is just a kind of an addition, a nice thing that it's nice to be recognized for playing well. So it's gonna be a good experience. Um, I don't know. I think I like the intensity of these games. I like what the Mexican teams bring, and there's a real rivalry there. So I like how this is. Yeah. Yeah, I think they all deserve it, tremendously. I think each one of them is one of the best in the league in their position. So, being here with all these guys, it's fun and it's enjoyable. Yeah, just my mom and my sisters. They'll be out here and go to the skills challenge, be at the game. It'll be good. Yeah, I think it's kind of unique, especially in the soccer world, but it's fun. It's guys that are really good players, and it's just a chance to meet them and kind of understand them. And then yeah, be friends with them a couple of days, and then once you get back, you're trying to beat them again. So it's it'll be good. Trying to think. Yeah, I think Mukhtar was one. Yeah, I just think everyone. I think everyone's like just good guys, and yeah, I'm excited to get to know everyone. Yeah, I mean, I think we're doing well. Obviously we had a couple games where we weren't at our best, and I think that's how it is in this league. It's a long season. We might have played the most games so far out of any team. Especially the Champions League run, and I'm proud of the way we handled that and still kept our form in MLS. Now we're setting ourselves up. We're still in a great spot, and now we just got to keep taking care of business. No, no proving for me. No, I don't.
Sebastian, you have had an incredible rise domestically and internationally. When it comes to the international scene, how are you feeling this summer and everything, and gearing up towards the 2026 team, making that roster and working your way on the roster? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, I think first and foremost you want to win. So it's disappointing not to win that game, in the finals, but yeah, it was a great experience. I'm super fortunate that I got to represent my country. A lot of kids dream, of being able to do that. So, super fortunate, and just want to keep making the most of my opportunities.
In terms of working with Pochettino, you had a conversation with him. Did you kind of leave it off this summer? What's the relationship like there?
Yeah, he's a great guy. He really is. He's really personable, and he wants to get to know, just more than outside the soccer part. He really wants to get to know you as a person, and that's something you can appreciate as a player. Yeah, he's a really good guy, and hopefully I get to see him again.
Talking about the final, you had a chance to go back and rewatch it, and you wanted to watch it, because it really felt like the last 20 minutes of the game, you were just like pushing it. I could tell the emphasis was giving, it was just frustrating. Just the result, all that chance to reflect and watch that final back.
Yeah, no, I've watched it back, reflected, and it's my first professional final, so that's something that starting. So that's something that I'll take me forever. And obviously the result wasn't there, and not how you want it started, but again, representing your country is the biggest honor in the world, and I'm just so happy I got to be there, and hopefully next time we'll go out there and win.
How did things change considering your last name and your dad's and the coach for a long time? Do you feel like that changes the dynamic when you walk into the locker room versus anybody else that's on that?
I don't think that's for me to say. I think I'm just doing myself, being myself, and if that's for other people to think, that's what other people think. But for me, I'm just doing what I do and doing the things that got me here in the first place.
And also, too, I mean, the national team is kind of fluctuating. There's different skills, different specialties, things like that. Where do you feel like you slot in? How do you separate yourself from some of the guys, the guys that are already, on the bid?
Yeah, me, I'm just gonna give 110% every time I step on the field. For me, it means. For everyone, it means a lot, but it just, being around this team for so long, it's like I've just built that burning fire of wanting to play for them. And then, for me, obviously on the field, I'm trying to add with the set pieces, trying to add with, just the technical qualities and defensively giving that bite, giving that extra push and just doing the best I can. I played against Boanga a lot, so I think, playing with him might be nice. We've gone back and forth a while, so yeah, I would probably say him.
And I gotta ask you, what is your career high for goals in a game at any level at any point in your life?
Can't be more than two. I hope some youth game I had 2 goals. Then it's just one.
What about assists?
Assists, again, probably 2 or 3. Probably 2 or 3 assists.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I like it. It's the third time I've played a Mexican team in a final. This in a year. So it kind of builds that rivalry. And obviously, anytime you play in Mexico, regardless of who it is, you want to win. So I personally enjoy it. I think they bring a great fire too. Like they always are ready. And yeah, I like it.
Yeah, and do you feel, obviously, being the national team, do you feel that the rivalry kind of plays over, now because maybe you've seen what you go up against one of those, that rivalry?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's been there forever. Since long before I was born, that rivalry. So it's just something I'm really happy that I get to be part of. Yeah, it was great. I think playing against Messi, I think if you treat him like Messi, it makes it a lot harder than it already is. So for me, it's like you got to treat him like a normal player, and his qualities, and you got to defend his qualities. And I think our team did a really good job in those two games, over those two legs. Everyone kind of had a big shift in defending him because it's tough. They also have great players on the team. But it was good, and it was good to come away winning that.
What's something about his game that you didn't notice until normal?
Yeah, I think you see his quickness all the time, getting his left foot, but it's different. He's gonna come to his left foot, and somehow he gets there. I personally, I was waiting for him to come, bam, and then I just fouled him. I was like, how did I even foul him? Like I knew he was coming here. You know what I mean? So it's something that once you get up close and personal, it's cool to see. Yeah, he's so personable. I think he's like, he really cares about more than just what you do on the field, off the field too. He's really good to be around. He's joking and laughing, and when it's serious, it's serious. He's I'm super thankful that he gave me my first opportunity, and hopefully there's more.
Is there something that specifically he did that said to you that you're like, man, this guy really does care about me as an individual?
Yeah, I think he just showed his belief in me. I think regardless of playing or not, I think just the little conversations, telling me like you're here for a reason, you got to give yourself more credit than you do, and just little things like that, and having those conversations, it makes you feel good when you have a guy like that, telling you things. So he's an incredible coach, and to be able to work with him was awesome.
Another big event is happening around All-Stars, the MLS next All-Star game.
Yeah.
What's one piece of advice you give to a player who one day wants to be a professional?
Yeah, I think stay in the moment, stay humble. I think those two, good games, bad games, you gotta just keep level-headed. You gotta keep going, keep pushing, keep working harder. And not letting any of that phase you. And at the end of the day, if it's what you want, you gotta go get it. No, I don't think so. I think you just keep doing what you always do. You're here for a reason. So I think for me personally, I'm just going to keep doing what I've always been doing. Yeah, I used to play for the team.
How do you feel at the Q2? Fans are super
Yeah. No, they're incredible. I think, they're incredible. Again, I had them, my first year was in Austin of the team, and they were really good to me and some of the best fans in the league. So I'm excited to play in front of them again. Yeah, thank you.
All-Star now, he's representing the U.S. men's national team. What's kind of, in your mind, your next milestone that you're looking for?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just taking it one game at a time, and I think even at the beginning of the year, if you would have said you would have been on the national team, you would have been an all-star, people would have probably thought I was crazy, So for me, it's about, staying in this moment now, and whatever happens, it's going to happen for a reason. So, yeah, that's how I look at it. Thank you. I think just enjoy it. This is a great generation of players, and we're all working really hard to bring home silverware, and it's exciting. It's an exciting time with with a great coach and good players, and just to enjoy it, and hopefully we're entertaining them and putting on a show.
So you've got quite a look between All-Star and U.S. soccer, and then you've got your club. How do you manage all of that and still continue to bring your best
Yeah, I think when you love what you're doing, it's easy. For me, it's like I love playing games. So I'd rather be playing games than not. So for me, it's that's an easy thing, and just got to keep chugging. And obviously recovery is a big thing, sleep's a big thing. So kind of dialing those two in, and then I love what I'm doing. So it's it's not that big a deal. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, each year has been a steady increase. I don't think it's been one big jump, as you're saying. Each year I've gotten a little bit better, and this year I think our coach Jespers came in and, helped me tweak in a couple of different ways, and I've been getting opportunities and just trying to make the most out of them. So it's been a good year. Yeah.
It felt like for yourself and Brian that the goals came after that, a lot of the attention came after that. Do you think that was a little bit of a turning point?
I think we've been doing the same things the whole year. I don't think that, those two games really had it, obviously on the bigger stage, but I think me and Brian have been doing that, game in and game out. It just happened to be in that stage and, playing against a great team, obviously playing against Messi, I think that adds a little light to it. But again, I think, we've been doing that the whole year. Yeah, no, the Argentinian thing swayed him a little bit. No, I think it's, we've been doing that all year.
You played your first season here in Austin.
Yeah.
And now it's the first MLS start, and your first MLS start. How special is that for you?
No, it's incredible. I think this is, such a great city, and the fan base is incredible, and being back here is something I take a lot of pride in.
What do you remember best of Austin?
I think the fans, the way they rallied around the city, that first year was so cool. And, we felt all the love, and, we weren't a great team that year. And, they always had our backs, they supported us, and, I'll never forget that.
We'll take one more from the gentleman in the blue.
Hi, similar. It's been a long summer for you, a lot of travel, a lot of games. What's been your warm, fuzzy, and cold prickly this summer?
Wow, warm fuzzy and cold prickly, you said? Okay. I think the warm and fuzzy was just being able to spend, almost 2 months with Brian White, seeing him every single day. I think that's something that was pretty special. And my cold and prickly would also probably seeing Brian White every day. I think they kind of go hand in hand, and it's ups and downs, but I think we're still going. So yeah, it's exactly. That was great.
Thanks, Sebastian.
God, thank you.
Thanks, Sebastian.